Alex,
Yes.
Kevin Durant's coming back with the Nets, and I was really excited about it. I did tell this story on another podcast, but you were the one that broke the news to me that KD was coming back to the Nets. I was in my office in Newark, New Jersey, working my job as a podcast producer, believe it or not. And I was walking near like the front area, and I got a text, and you texted me and broke the news. Now you didn't tell me, "Hey, KD's coming back," but you
Because I
texted
know you
me.
have the alerts. I know you. It's a.
I was busy at work. I didn't
Yeah,
see it,
yeah.
believe it or not. Like there's
Mhm.
moments where I, didn't have the Shams tweet before everybody else. Oh my God. And I saw the news and just pure relief, pure joy. I am so excited that Kevin Durant and the Nets are running this thing back. I couldn't be happier about the situation. I know there's some Nets fans that are like, I'm done with the guy. I hate him. He ditched us. And like, I don't care. This is not somebody I have sex with. This is not a lover of mine. This is not somebody that cheated on me. This is not a best friend of mine that went behind my back and took my job. This is basketball. This is business. And I am thrilled that Kevin Durant and the Nets are running it back in the 2022-2023 season. And I am thrilled to be watching them play. I don't care. I'm not going to take it personal that Kevin Durant, who's somebody that seems to clearly wish-wash on things, had a moment where he didn't want to be with the Nets. I do not take that personal. I do not care. Genuinely do not care at all. And I'm thrilled he's going to be in the black and white in this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can be excited. We talked about the last few episodes of in order to bring Durant back, they had to give him something. He can't come back with his tail between his legs. And what did he get? He didn't get anything. What did he got? His logo on the statement?
Sure.
Well,
bullshit.
Yeah, I demanded a trade. I demanded the coach and GM to be fired. But you know what? I got my logo on the official statement, so we're good. I'm coming back.
That was garbage. But and I know
bizarre,
Knick fans,
bizarre.
and I know national media will.
It's not even just Knick fans right now.
No, it's everybody.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just like I truly, and there's a lot of times I've lied where I'll be like, I don't care, but I secretly like have a little insecurity about what people think.
Right.
I really don't care at all. Like pile it on, make fun of him, do anything you want to do because I just know how valuable he is. And he's so great. And I'm just so thrilled to watch it and all of it. If you want to, make fun of him, make fun of the Nets, it's all irrelevant to me because big picture things and going for a championship, it's all just bullshit. And for the Nets, this is the best course of action to trying to win. I'm sure there'll be something that, fucks up in their face and will be a disaster. But for now, Nets have a chance. And I go into next season thinking there is an option to win a championship that's on the table. And the part about this season coming up that's maybe a little more tantalizing than the past is that everybody won't just be riding the Nets like, oh, this is their title. A lot of people will be against them. A lot of people won't think they have a shot. And I hope that the Nets use all of this ammo and this fuel. And I hope it, motivates Kevin. I hope it motivates Kai. I really do. I really hope they go into next season actually like giving a shit because of all the bullshit they're going to hear and all the noise from the outsiders.
Yeah, I hear you, but I also I'm happy to hear what you said in the beginning when you opened up of that some Nets fans are done with him. I'm happy to hear that because I felt like the majority of Net fans are like you, and they're and I understand it. I texted you, I was like, you should be happy because the alternative was the abyss. Like who knows?
Mm-hmm.
At least like if this works out, we could be a title contender. If like at least that's all you can ask for as a fan is a chance. And I get that, but I also like as a fan and taking this stuff personally, like you do. Shouldn't you boo Durant and Kyrie the first time you see him?
Don't care.
Shouldn't you boo them? Like they demanded a trade. Okay. They didn't want anything to do with you anymore. Kyrie went and searched for a trade, couldn't get one, came back and let his tail between his legs, signed the player option. Durant said, I want out, went to the owner's office, said, I want out. And the owner said, yeah, okay, go. And then they said, I want the coach and GM fired. He's like, well, no. So now like you're gonna be like, oh, now we're all one big happy family. That's not a championship like recipe, man. It's no, really it isn't. Not.
You're right. You're absolutely right. At this point, it absolutely is not a championship recipe. And I'll tell you right now, you can go ahead and boo. And the second he gets on the court and he throws a triple double against the Pelicans and he beats them by 11, you're gonna go, well, am I gonna boo for the rest of my life, or am I gonna go? We have a chance to win a title. And you're right. It's not a recipe for a championship right now. It isn't. it's not even close to it. It's dysfunction at its finest. But again, it was the abyss. I'm not going to be thrilled about a Nets team that has no chance at all to win a championship. And everybody could say this like, oh, it'll go wrong. Oh, something will happen. You're probably right. But you know what? If the other scenario, they don't have a chance. Like, there is a chance for them if things do break right. And I understand a lot has to go correct, but at least they're in the conversation where they can win a championship. And I don't, for that reason and that reason only, I don't care about any of it. Everybody will stop booing the second they're on the court and they're motivated and they're together. You're telling me they're 10-1 and Ben Simmons looks like an all NBA player. They're all buying in together. You're going to sit there and be booing. No, you're going to be fucking thrilled out of your mind.
Right.
And maybe I
in
can
the
just
beginning.
see past it.
I'm talking like in the beginning. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not ashamed to admit it either. Like, big fucking deal. Like, okay, Kevin Durant didn't want to be with the Nets for a hot second. Who gives a flying fuck? They're back together. Let's go win the title.
Yeah, and as fans, we're always put in this moral quandary of rooting for guys who might not be the best people off the court or field, or ice. Like, there might be like the worst guy in the world arrested, but you know what? He's wearing the uniform, and I want my team to win.
Well, he's not a bad guy.
Screw it. Yeah, exactly. They're not bad people. Exactly. They're not criminals.
He's kind of nuts in the brain with stuff, but he's not like
right. No, it's kind of like for me to make a football comparison with Tim Tebow. I couldn't stand Tebow before he came to the Jets. I was like, this guy is the biggest fraud. Sure. What does he do? He throws a pass at the end of the game. The defense holds everything together, and then he gets all the credit. And then he takes a knee. He's not the first guy to take a knee. And then when the Jets traded for him, I wanted to vomit. And it became the most unenjoyable season as a Jets fan ever. And the fan base is divided. But guess what? When Tebow had the ball on the field, I'm like, go, 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 go.
What else are you going to do? No choice.
But I was deep down, I was happy that he never scored a touchdown for the Jets. Like looking back, I was kind of happy about that. But also when he's on the field and he's running for a first down, I'm like, yeah, I was happy. You know what I'm saying? So,
there's that. I get your comparison, but I mean, Kevin Durant's not Tim Tebow.
No, as far as level of play, of course. But at the same time,
too, that'd be like if Tom Brady came to your team.
Yeah, but I also told you it wasn't going to be so easy to trade Kevin Durant.
You were right. No, you were right. And the market got twisted with the Rudy Gobert deal, which shifted things and really hurt Kevin Durant's trade value. Not because it gave Sean Marks and this is kind of the excuse. And this is, I think, where we kind of tie in a lot of loose ends from other episodes. Oh my God, I feel like we're putting Stranger Things together at the very end. But when we had talked about the point of like, making fun of the Nets, they were like, here's the offer the Nets had for these teams.
Right.
And people made fun of the Nets. But if you look back at it in retrospect, they got the authority to do that because those deals were that market was set. So the Nets did that knowing like, we don't want to trade him. We're going to really fuck the value here and not give realistic trades to make this happen. And because of that, nobody could get their hands on Kevin Durant. Nobody had the offer that was even close. And he ends up where it's like, this is your best option by default. Unfortunately for you, here you are. So yeah, you were right about that. And I also think the marketplace got all whacked out from the Utah Jazz and the Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves and the Jazz. And I wasn't even thinking about it from that angle. I was more of Gobert because I don't know how much I think that was, like I was saying, is more of an excuse for GMs. That's kind of what Ainge is using with Donovan Mitchell. We'll get into that in a little bit.
But an excuse is it's
a real thing. Real. Yeah, no, I get it. It's being used. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't, because just because the Timberwolves gave up 4 picks and a bunch of nobodies, and Patrick Beverley is not a nobody, but you know what I mean? For Rudy Gobert, who's the defensive player of the year, reigning he's not some scrub, so it shouldn't like affect the Nets trying to trade Kevin Durant or the Knicks trying to get Donovan Mitchell, but it does because these people are they're egos. It's like, baseball players or any athlete in any sport. I want to be the highest paid player in the sport. It's just like, who cares, man? Like, don't you want to help your team, do better? Like, do you really need another $15 million after you're getting $700 million, whatever. So that's a different story. But, the Kevin Durant stuff, like, he's 34 years old, coming off an injury, demanding a trade after resigning, or the Nets gave him the whole list, that tweet of mine that went viral, of all the things they gave him: DeAndre, Steve Nash, trading, benching Jared Allen, like all of these things, James Harden, then trading Harden. It's like, yo, dude, why would I trade for that at 34? If he's 29, 28, I trade everything for him. But at 34, you're going to be declining and you're a pain in the ass and Otis injured. What is the redeeming quality here that I'm trading for here?
I'm curious why the Celtic trade didn't work, because I think that had legs to happen. Now,
right. The Nets rejected it, right? The Nets rejected it.
The Nets rejected it, but I think.
So we think, yeah.
I don't know. Whatever it
was Jaylen Brown, a pick.
Like, let's say if was it Marcus Smart? They said no to Marcus Smart. Okay,
they didn't want to
we'll add
Smart. I don't think.
They added another piece, and they eventually come to something where it's like a compromise. I wonder why that just died. And Kevin Durant said, "Fuck it, don't worry about the Celtic deal. You can't make it happen." There's so many questions that will never be answered. Maybe over years from now we'll get answers, but in the interim, we'll never know. What transpired with Kevin Durant wanting to really get out of Brooklyn, and then also what had happened where nothing could come together with the trade. What was that meeting like when they met all together? So many interesting questions that I think I'm just fascinated to learn as a human being and someone that enjoys gossip and somebody that loves my basketball team. Again, not offended by it, but more just really curious, like what transpired over the last 3 months. And I don't think we'll ever get answers to that.
Yeah, we'll get an answer when Durant wants to do a documentary or something comes out. They're doing documentaries way sooner now. It used to be you wait like 20 years for a documentary, 15 years, but it's like, wow, I watched the Tuck Rule documentary recently. That was great. The 30 for 30. And it was like nice to see. I mean, I hated that, the beginning of the Patriots and half my life they're winning over the Jets. But it was nice to see Charles Woodson and him sit down and shoot the shit and talk about it. Both Michigan teammates. It was a whole thing. I'm not watching though the Tom Brady one where he's talking about his career, the one that's like whatever amount of parts that is. I'm not watching that. That's going on now. Even Derek Jeter, like you just retired, dude. Like I'm good on you for another 10 years.
Manti Te'o's out. I do want to watch that.
That's interesting because that's the catfish thing.
Different angle.
The first one.
Non-sports.
Non-sports. And that was like, what the hell actually happened? Like, Derek Jeter, I know he caught the ball and then dove into the stands and scratched his face and everybody went crazy. Like, okay, great. Like, good job. You dove into the stands after catching it. Okay, you're a hero. Anyway, Derek Jeter's great. I'm just kidding. That play is just way overrated. That's all I have to say. And he dives into the stands. Anyway, so I wanted to bring something up to you. So Nets fans, with this whole offseason, the cocky Nets fan is dead. You can't be cocky as a Nets fan anymore.
No.
You can be excited. Yes. You can be confident that if they're like 15-1, like, okay, but you can't walk around cocky anymore. Like, oh, we're going to win the title. That's it. Everything's going to fall into place. Who the hell are you, the little Knicks? You know what I mean? You can't, or any team, you can't do that anymore. You just can't, because at any moment, some things can change.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I was never really a cocky Nets fan to begin with.
No, you had your moment when you had a right to be. Yeah.
For me, it's just a pure sense of relief that I get to go into next season. And trust me, I'm walking on eggshells. Like at any moment, something could get fucked up. And not only that, like injuries too. There's so many things that can go wrong for the Nets into next season. So many different variables. But again, it all comes back to the point where I'm just excited that at least there is a bet, right? I used this example before where you can bet on the Nets. Like if the Nets traded Durant and Kyrie Irving, there's no bet. Like, do you want to bet the Nets to win the title? No, because I know I can't win that.
Yeah.
You can now make the bet. Now it might be a tough bet. You might not have the best odds. You might think the Bucks, the Celtics, the Suns, whatever. But at least there's a bet. Like somebody was going to go out and be like, I'm going to bet on the Nets to win the title. That wouldn't have happened if they dealt him. So, and part of me is thinking maybe because now there's these like expectations have been reversed. Maybe this will help them. To allude back to your first thing though, I've never been a cocky Nets fan. Like, yeah, I've been cocky at moments, but I don't think I've ever been like one of those guys that was like, oh, the title's ours. Like, God, you've heard me on this
making up memes or T-shirts or fake magazine covers.
I mean, I'm more of a Net fan. I just enjoy Nick failures, but I wouldn't say like I'm cocky about it. But yeah, I would hope not. I mean, at this point, I think you just got to be like, we got a mission. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's hope we win. And I would like to associate myself more with those Net fans that are having the conversations like, this might be boring on this podcast, but like, do you think Ben Simmons is better suited in the small ball lineup if he's at the one and then you move him?
What's with the center talk, by the way? What is that about? That he might play center?
Well,
what is that? Is that legit? I saw that. Sorry to cut you off.
I think at times I think you could see all this weird stuff. Steve Nash is a brilliant mind, Alex. You're going to see a little bit. I mean, he's RJ Barrett's godfather. Of course, he's great. You're going to see a little bit of everything with the Nets. I personally want Simmons at the point because I think Kyrie should play the 2. And we'll go from there. But
and let Durant do his thing. Yeah, exactly.
These are the Net fans I like. We have these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Is it Royce O'Neal or Joe Harris? All these great boring conversations that we can now have.
Well, that trade looks like a genius now. You got Royce O'Neal for like.
And well, now at the time, it's good. Now this.
Genius,
let me ask you this about. Let me ask you a question because I know we love to role play here on Bad Weather Fans. Everybody in Alex's group chat's gonna make fun of Mike because he likes to say role play. All right, calm down, everybody. I like to role play. I do. Here's a question for you. Knick fans that say, I'm glad Durant's coming back. I can watch more of the mess.
Honestly, I don't agree with that. I would rather him not be there. I think the mess, it's a mess, and it already is. So you're saying is like, can we be excited that he stayed because it's going to be more of a mess? Is that what you're saying?
It's more of Kyrie Irving's now going to do this. He's going to fight with whatever,
right.
whatever hypothesis or whatever preview you want to come up with.
Hypothetical.
Yes. That's the word. Hypothesis. I'm a professor. The hypothesis, whatever it is going to be, that's going to be a disaster for this franchise. Whatever it might be, I'm sure there'll be something that comes up along the way. Goes, I'm excited because if he was gone, it would just be a boring Net franchise and nothing to like, I don't know, whatever.
I'm good on that. I was laughing when Durant demanded trade because I thought it was all over. I'm still happy because it's a mess and like the Nets just look like this dumpster fire and this whole culture facade and they're the classy organization and they do things the right way and all this bullshit that was force fed to everybody by ESPN and Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, all these guys and Robin Lundberg, all these guys just shoving this down your throat. And now they just look like complete idiots or just that they were wrong. Maybe they're not idiots. They just look like they were wrong and just trying to like hype up something that wasn't really there. And it's just like, now I just get to laugh because at the time I'm like, what are you guys talking about? But of course there's no vindication though. Like, good job, man. You were right. No, there's none of that. They'll just spin it into something else, which is just the job. And it's frustrating for me, but I'm happy that is all gone, but I would rather have the final nail in the coffin of them actually being gone. Like Kevin Durant going to like Atlanta. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant being
not Atlanta,
maybe not Atlanta. Yeah. Kevin Durant going to like Dallas, or maybe not even Dallas. That's the wrong one.
You're giving the worst example.
Kevin Durant going to
the Kings to
Portland.
And get it over with.
There you go, Portland. There you go, and winning a title with Dame, and then I'd be happy. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that.
All right. So let me play the therapist here. Do you think that Knick fan says that as a coping mechanism because they are so annoyed that they're back and it's like, fuck, I thought these idiots were out of here, or do they really mean that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good question. Because like for me, I wouldn't look at it as a coping mechanism because I'm not worried about the Nets winning a title anymore. You know what I mean? Like my mind, I'm like, they have no shot. I know they have all the guys and like they have a shot, quote unquote. They're not like the Houston Rockets, but this is not how to win a championship. You need everybody on the same page to sacrifice for each other. Everybody has each other's backs. I know this is the NBA and a coach can get fired in the middle of the season and you could still win a title. You know what I mean? Like this is a different kind of league, but in order to win, you have to have the guys that are going to step up too. And you have to have the role players that know, like Shaq always says it, the guys that win you titles are like Robert Horry or like Derek Fisher, Steve Kerr. Those are the guys that win you titles, is Joe Harris going to help you win a title? Is Royce O'Neal going to help you win a title? Is Kyrie going to show up to work the whole year? Is Ben Simmons even going to play? Right. Is Kevin Durant going to get mad in the middle of the season and just sit out again and demand the trade, or is he going to get hurt again? There's so many variables that to me, there is no shot that the Nets win the title. Like, I don't want to say no shot, but like I would bet a lot that they won't win. And I wouldn't bet a dime that they would win.
It's 10:08 Thursday, August 25th. And every Net fan listening, this is episode 131. You capture that shit.
Go ahead.
And I love it because I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm not even going to give you points on why they can win a championship because I know the points. Yeah, exactly. Because I could do it. But the beauty of it, Alex, is I don't care. I don't care that you think that.
And you shouldn't.
I don't care at all. And I love the fact that everybody will think that and they can get out of your mind, because it takes 2 weeks in the regular season to be 12-2 for you to go, fuck.
And look what happened to DeRozan last year. A lot of Knicks fans didn't want DeRozan. Bulls started off hot, and they're like, "Oh fuck, baby. We fucked up." And it ended up not working out for them. But so I get that.
So excited.
Everybody's a prisoner of the moment, especially the beginning of the NBA season. When the season really doesn't start until Christmas. It's at the beginning of the season. Everybody's just trying to feeling everything out. So whatever.